Welcome back, folks. My name's Brad, and you're at Piney Grove, our 20 acres in Northwest Florida. I don't have Deb with me today. Mrs. Piney Grove signed up for some babysitting duties. Deb said this morning, you get all the holes drilled, we'll come out tomorrow and put all the posts in the hole. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or if I'm just going to try and do from where I'm standing back. That's about halfway, and it's kind of the more difficult half to do. The easier half is behind the camera going that way. So if I can get all of these posts in, that would be actually a pretty good day. We'll see how much we get accomplished, but first things first, I got to run a string line. This is the look we're going for on the fence that we're working on. You got a line post or 8-inch wooden post every 30 feet, and then in between of that, you have 2 T-posts. So I got the string line established, and if I count the flags that we have down there, looks like I have about 3, maybe 4 posts to put in to complete this section. So Deb and I put flags every 30 feet or so, and we were trying to do it exactly 30 feet for the wooden post, and then you do 2 T-posts in between of those wooden posts. But it's not exactly 30 feet because I didn't want to mess with the root balls of some of these bigger trees along here. So in some places it's 32 feet, in some places it's 29 feet, but it'll all look good once it's done. But I just didn't want to put a post right next to a living tree, and this is a prime example. I doubt this is 30 feet from the other flag, but if I came this way a couple feet, then I would be messing with the root ball of this cedar, and the same thing if I went that way. And this is a good example of working around a legacy oak tree. You know, this oak tree, it's I don't know, I cannot wrap my arms around it. So this is a prime example of a tree that you want to maintain and keep. You don't want to cut this beautiful tree down. You can see that there's the old fence line on the left side of the tree, and I had to move this fence line in almost 3 feet, kind of surrendering a little bit of our property, but that was to maintain the big trees that had grown up in the fence line in the background. We don't have to move the fences far on the one we're working on now, but this is what I did a couple years ago. And again, just to save from having to destroy these big trees, and that's as close as you can get a post to a big oak, and that had a lot of roots in that hole. And then this is the H-brace. We're gonna have to put in at least 2 H-braces on this fence we're building now. Some of these trees are not, you know, oaks, but most of them are. Look at this big, beautiful tree right here. And we don't want to disturb the root ball there. Now this tree isn't growing very well because it's being canopied by that big oak, but it's grown right in the fence line. So not much you can do about that. Then we come here. Here's the string line. And that's what we're trying to do. That same style of fence that I showed you up front, we're trying to do that here in the back. So if you want to kill a cedar tree, and take your barbed wire and wrap it directly around your cedar tree. It doesn't take that much effort or even cost to put in a post, especially a T-post. I think they're $5 a piece. You get one of those manual pounders, and you can pound it right in literally a couple minutes. So why you would wrap a piece of barbed wire around a tree that took 50 years to grow, I don't know. But I don't think that's cool. We ended the video yesterday talking about, you know, there's some time involved with doing a string line. But I gotta say, that little bit of time I invested in a string line is gonna make these posts a lot easier.
I think it went a little slower than what we were used to without the string line. The string line seemed to be a little more efficient time-wise. So I'm not one to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Okay, all the starter holes are dug now. So now I can just drop the post hole digger right in those holes, dig them down 3 feet. Should go pretty quick. I do have to get my tape measure so I can measure out the H-brace before I take the string line down and drill the holes. Here 3901 idling in the background. like I mention all the time, it's a regen engine. And with that diesel particulate filter, that DPF, you don't really want to idle them that much. But I just don't want to start working her hard when she hasn't had a chance to warm up a little. I won't let her idle long. Feel uncomfortable just throttling her up right away when she's cold. So for your H-brace, your horizontal is just a post, just a smaller post. And it's 8 feet long, but I don't want to take a chance and be an 8 foot 1 inch gap and then the post is too short. So I'm going to put the post at 8 foot. That means that I'll probably cut the H-brace to about 7 foot, but I can always cut a long post. I can't make a short post longer. All the posts are marked. And that starter hole just keeps the auger straight as it's going in. I'll go ahead and drill these holes. This should go pretty quick. I'll let the string line down so it's not in the way, then drill the holes. So throughout this process, I've talked about, getting re-familiar with the equipment because I hadn't used it in a while. And one thing that I relearned yesterday, I can gauge the depth of the hole by if the slip clutch is hitting the dirt. And here's what I mean by that. When this slip clutch right here hits the dirt, I know that I'm pretty close to 3 feet. And that's what I'm looking for. I want to be 3 feet below the original surface of the ground. I'm almost there. I'm going to dig another inch or two. It's much easier to clean out the hole with the post hole diggers of loose dirt than it is to kind of chip away at that clay at the bottom of the hole. This particular hole looks like it has really dry clay, so it's almost going to be polished at the bottom, like a dinner plate polished at the bottom. And it's real hard to score that because you're at the end of your post hole digger, your manual post hole digger limit. So this hole is the record so far for how long to dig it. And I know I've been digging 20 minutes or so, and I just keep getting these fine particles of clay, but you can see where it shaves clay. I think I found out one problem why. I don't know if you can see, but right there, there's a rock caught between, there's the point, and there's a rock caught in between there on the other side. See, this cutting point is worn pretty bad. Got some chunks taken out of it, but the point itself can't dig because it's got a stone in there. So I'm gonna clean up this hole and then get that stone out of there. It should dig a little better. So I've had to do this occasionally where middle of digging the hole, I gotta clean out the hole and then score the bottom with the post hole diggers. And that'll allow the tractor post hole digger to get a better bite. But it's nothing but fine clay particles. You know, when you see a nice fence on a pasture, you're like, oh, that's a nice fence. But until you've done one, you don't realize the work that it takes. And it's not just the work of digging the holes. You got to get the post, you got to plan it out. But just this one hole alone, I'm probably going to have over 30 minutes in just digging the hole. Luckily, we're doing them every 30 feet. We're not doing them every 8 feet. But on our front fence line, we probably had 10 holes in a row that were just like this one. Yep, just a little rock was sitting in there. I finally got the hole done. You can see it's just solid red clay going all the way down. And I didn't set up the camera for the next hole, but the next hole literally dug in a minute. It's a looser clay, it's a wet clay, I guess more moisture in the clay. and it just dug perfectly, just like you would expect a post hole digger to dig. It caught a couple roots on the top from this oak tree, but other than that, and it's still clay, but it's a little bit more moisture in it, and it's 30 feet from that one. There's the one that took so long, red clay, more of a yellow clay. This one should dig easy too. This is in that same type of soil. See if I can capture an easy one. Give me some hope. That was bound to happen eventually. On the last hole, I felt the tape measure slip out of my pocket and it actually landed on the ground. I was like, good thing it didn't go down the hole. It did on this one. All right, folks, show you the progress so far. I got all the posts in the post holes that I've dug so far this morning. I reestablished the string line and now I'm ready to start packing post. So I put a couple of twists on my line and that holds it in place. And then I pulled it really, really tight. I mean, this line is banjo string tight. And it's 2 posts in, so that post in front of me is already set, and so is this one. So that establishes my straight line all the way to my corner. And then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, I got 5 posts to pack in. In yesterday's video, you saw us packing in the post, so I won't waste a lot of battery or film recording this one. But this can be a little bit different because once I get the post plumb, I'll kick the bottom until it barely touches the string line. And that'll be different from what we did yesterday, which was me walking down and sighting in the post while Deb held it. This is quicker once the string line is established, but yesterday we just didn't establish the string line. So that's plumb, so that means the whole post has to come this way. And the easiest way to do that is push the top that way and push the bottom this way, or pick it up and bring it this way. And there it is. It is barely touching the line. It's plumb according to this level, which has 2 bubbles on it, one for this way and one for that way. And that's it. Just start packing dirt. Now the post is on the extreme inside of the pole, so you got to pack most of the dirt on the other side of the pole. This is definitely easier with a helper. You can get it done by yourself though. I'm just going to get the poles where they will stand up by themselves, and then Deb's going to come back with me tomorrow and she'll pack them all in. Okay, that's all I have to do on that post. I'm going to go down the line and pack them all in. Okay, it's about noon and my stomach was telling me so. So I got 5 posts in 3 hours. I got them packed in mostly. I left a little bit for Deb to do. I did pack in the H-brace one completely. Well, let me show you what we got. Post number 1. Post number 2. You'll notice maybe some of these posts, they're straight left and right towards the pasture, away from the pasture. But some of them have a bow to them, but that's nothing that you can fix. You know, they're a tree, so trees aren't perfect. Down at the end, you see the two posts close together. That's the H brace. You notice the tops of them are not level with each other because the one closest to me is down on the natural grade, the natural slope of the land. That's fine. The H brace can be at an angle. The H brace can be straight and one post taller than the other. That's okay. The only way to get both of those posts the same level would be if one was sticking out of the ground further than the other. So you could go for that visual where both posts are the same size or the same height. As soon as you put the 4-foot wire on, that'll show the difference. So it's better just to go with the lay of the land. All these posts are about 5 foot above ground. We go for 4 feet of sheep and goat fence and then leave a foot more of post for a possible or a potential future electrical wire if we think there's something that can jump the 4 feet. All right, let me get you caught up. What I've been doing, put in 2 more posts and dug a few more holes. And basically what I'm doing is I got too long a stretch to stretch a string. I'm sighting down and determining where posts are every 120 feet or so. And then I can run string lines. I did that, I ran a string line and I drilled 3 holes. And now I just put in this post behind me. And this is the last post that I need to run string lines. So behind me is the original corner that I established a few years ago. So I go up to that corner and I run a string line to this post right here. And then I can run all those line poles. And then I run a string line from this pole to the one that's next to the pine tree behind me. So I'll walk up there and show you what I've done so far. But because you can't have a string line that's too long, 1, because my string is only so long, but 2, it'll sag and it won't stay straight. So I only want my string line to be 150 feet max. So that's why I had to put in these intermediary poles. And also I needed to determine how far away I needed to stay from these oak trees. Because you can't put a post right next to an oak tree because an oak tree has like a butt that comes out of it, and you can't put the fence right up against that. So I need to stay, you know, a certain amount of inches away from those oak trees, and I'll show you a good example right here. Okay, so here is the line pole I have in, and it's fully packed. It's all done, and it's level. It's level 2 ways by the bubble. But the reason it juts out a little is because this oak tree, I can't put the fence right up against it. I can't put the fence right here. I got to put the fence here because there's roots here. So I'm still going to have to chop a few roots along here, but that forced me to keep the fence line out a little. If we go up the hill here, you can see a pine tree that juts out into the pasture to the left, and you'll see a post next to it. So this pine tree is a nice pine tree. There's no need to cut it down. Plus it's on my neighbor's property. But so this post I established next to this pine tree, and that catches up with the post that Deb and I put in. And if I come this way, you'll see those posts down there. So from there to the corner where you see the post is done, the holes from those posts to this post are done. And then I've marked every 30 feet with flags. And then right in front of the tractor, where the post hole diggers are, right there, is another line post. And now I have enough posts in to run string lines. All right, they're in the hole. Those darn things are heavy. Don't tell Deb what I just did. 3 or 4 twists is all you need, like that. And you just work the line. Tight enough. One thing I didn't do on these holes was cut these little roots with the shears, and they get in the way while you're packing. It don't stop you from packing, it's just an annoyance. That's right against the string. I mean, there's like a 1/16 of an inch. She's level left and right, or plumb, and she's plumb front and back. This moist clay packs really well and really quick. That's good enough. Mrs. Piney Grove can finish that one tomorrow. Okay, just had a little break, doing a progress check. It's 3 o'clock. Been at it for 6 hours. I got 10 posts in and all of the holes marked for all the rest, all the way down. So I'm just gonna drill the rest of these holes and then get on the road. Like I said in the last update, I'm gonna leave those last few posts for Deb to finish tamping all the way, but they're definitely solid enough to stand up on their own. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got about 9 or 10 posts to drill. So I'm gonna drill them. Hopefully they go quick. I'll drill all 10 if they go quick. If they go slow like some of the ones that we started off this video with, I'm not gonna drill them all today before I leave. So that was about 3 minutes to drill 2 holes, because I just looked on the camera. As opposed to this morning, at least one of those holes was 30 minutes. And the other one was close to it. So it's just the soil type, how wet that clay is. But they drilled real nice. I hope the rest of them go that smooth. Well folks, you can see I didn't just drill the holes and leave. I called an audible. They drilled so quickly, I had a little extra time. So I went ahead and decided to pack the bottom of the holes and make sure they were 3 foot deep perfectly. And because it's more sandy here, and also I noticed that one of the teeth on my auger had turned sideways. So I think that was really helping it cut because it was exposing a new sharp edge. But anyway, they drilled so quickly, I had extra time. I decided to cut all the roots out of the way for Deb and also tamp the bottom of the hole perfectly at 3 foot. Well, that went pretty quickly, so I decided to grab the poles, throw them in the hole, just in case it rains or something. So I got 4 more posts to put in the holes, and then I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm gonna head home. So hopefully you enjoyed coming along with me today, working on this fence line. Got a lot done today. 1 more day of poles and H-braces, and then we'll be ready to string wire. But if you liked today's video, please give us a big thumbs up at the bottom. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share with your friends. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, y'all.